Now before we move forward, this video is 18 plus because what you're about to witness is a serious hazard. So, F1 2014, a season known for not many good things. Number 1, the ugliest F1 cars of all time. Number 2, the worst sounding and most quiet F1 cars of all time. And number 3, one of the slowest cars in a long time that we've had in terms of overall pace. So, I thought I'd revisit them here today. I have a grid of 12 cars, a bit of a mix, a pick and mix if you will, and I've chosen the ugliest and the strangest of the lot with the Lotus E22 with the twin tusks which are asymmetric. But we have more cars in this race. We have the Toro Rosso, which of course had a very noticeable nose. We have the vacuum cleaner Ferrari, the car which oversteers and understeers at the same time. I've got another video coming with this specific car down the line. The McLaren MP429 gets an unfair rap. Yes, it has an ugly nose, but generally wasn't a bad car and was the last McLaren to achieve a podium up until last season. The Red Bull RB10, arguably the best car in my opinion of the grid, still looks insane, very nice livery, hides the nose defects well, and is known as the car in which Daniel Ricciardo made his debut and destroyed Sebastian Vettel in his first season with Red Bull. And last but not least, we also have another vacuum cleaner, which in this case is the Mercedes, also one of the better looking cars, probably second best, maybe even the best car in a close kind of fight with Red Bull in terms of what's best or worse from what was a pretty miserable year of cars looking terrible. Now I've done a few attempts at this race and they've all gone wrong, so I've had to break out the soft tyre and dump the fuel because this car is horrible to drive. Anyway, let's get into it. Underway for the race. We're going to just take it cautiously here into turn 1 before we really get into it. But yeah, it should be relatively well behaved as it is an actual Assetto Corsa circuit in the form of Austria. But yeah, let's try and see if we can get a couple of places here at the start and hopefully make some progress. I've got absolutely no tyre temperature right now as we make our way through turn 3. Got no drive in third gear, I had to drop it down a second there. We're going to pull ahead of Sebastian Vettel as we make our way down to turn 4. But Vettel fights back around the outside, keeping the space. Oh, we lock on. Looks like I managed to just get in front, but there is no grip on this tyre. Can I at least get some temperature? That would be very nice. No, this ain't happening. Just gonna have to try and stay alive here. So far so good actually. P8 gained 4 places. Not too shabby. There is just no grip whatsoever in this car. You just turn, the front end just refuses to do anything. It's actually ridiculous. I mean, I've got a video coming up on the Ferrari, which will be a completely different story in itself, as the Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel runs in hot. We almost have a moment. So we have a bit of understeer, oversteer, which we love to see with these cars. But actually, let's talk about that. That brings me on to the topic of this video and what I want to talk about. The 2014 F1 cars and the season, let's be honest, forgetful. A decent, okay-ish title fight, and the one redeeming quality of these cars is that they were a handful to drive, so it was a challenge for the driver. Arguably, even though these were so slow, they were more challenging to drive than the 2020 cars, which is, obviously a super grippy, fast car with a lot of G-force. But these were just such a tough car to drive, with the exception of Mercedes, I'd say, that drivers genuinely had a massive workout in these. Besides that, that's it. There's no more positives to take from these cars in this season. As I mentioned in the intro, they're known for a lot of bad things, and yeah, the worst thing about it is that the ugliest looking car I think of all time isn't even present on this grid. I present to you the Caterham, the 2014 Caterham, the last Caterham we ever saw, and before the nose change, the nose job, oops, as we almost crash it, at the last race in Abu Dhabi, or there or thereabouts, it had the worst looking nose, or double nose, of all time. Absolutely horrific, as we have a Red Bull here, Ricciardo, facing the wrong direction. But yeah, what I've done for this video anyway is get all the mods that I've seen available of the 2014 season and put them together in a little 12-car race package. There are other ways of doing this video. F1 2014, the game, but let's be honest, that game is one of the worst F1 games of all time and has one of the worst physics and handling packages of all time. F1 2015 exists, which isn't too bad, but I can't play it as I have a software error. So, the next best thing is Assetto Corsa, which holds up perfectly fine, and let's be honest, these mods are really good quality. I'll leave a link down below, and it's actually far more enjoyable and far more realistic than anything F1 games from Codemasters are going to provide. And for the purpose of this video, which is getting a workout from these cars which are snapping and oversteering like crazy, that's what we want. But yeah, at the minute we're just hanging in here with Ricardo, trying to see if I can stick with. But I'm starting to now lose time. I don't even know if I've got DRS. I don't think I have, or at least not on this straight. Tyres are stone cold. These tyres need CPR. Like, I cannot get any temperature in these or whatsoever, which is probably why I'm slow. Otherwise, I think I'd be okay pace-wise. I am on the hardest difficulty. Got the DRS open now, so we're going to see a bit of a boost. But yeah, this car as well, man. My God. I think it's probably the second worst looking car of all time after the Caterham, because the twin tusks, asymmetrical nose, combined with the fact that it just was a terrible car. You know, it was really slow. Renault in 2014 had a terrible engine. All these factors combined with their lineup being extremely mid, and that's being generous with Maldonado and Grosjean. It was a recipe for a pretty terrible year for Lotus. Their last year under Renault power before they switched to Mercedes power in 2015 and got their podium, and then obviously changed to Renault in 2016 as a works team. Oh dear, this car is not fun to drive. Another thing as well, these cars were the last ones to have the old-fashioned LED, you know, traditional kind of red LED wheels before we got the screens, you know, with the new kind of hybrid units. It was kind of a mixture. We had some old wheels and some new wheels in this season. I think I've got a car on the inside here. Yes, I have. That's that's Roman. So we might get into a teammate battle here. Oh God, it's all gone wrong. It's all gone wrong. This car, these cars in general, are just not fun to drive, man. I'll try and catch back up, but I'm not feeling particularly optimistic. I'm not gonna lie. 3 laps to go, and I already want it to end. The best lap of 1:14.3. If you compare that to like the lap times the 2020 F1 cars were doing, even in race trim, I think like 105s. It's crazy how bad these cars were. Definitely a dark age and a bad start to the the current hybrid era as we know it. I mean, the engines have come a long, long way in the 8 years or so, 9 years now since we've had these regs, but I'm glad this era's behind us. I'm all for challenging cars, but this wasn't it. They stripped away too much downforce, combined with too many other bad things. Like, genuinely, there is no satisfaction. I'm trying to catch these two cars up ahead, but it's not going to happen. and I'm already, it's been 8 laps around the 1 minute lap circuit, and it felt like an eternity. I'm so glad this is over, and we'll put this behind us. I've got one more video lined up with the Ferrari, which is going to be painful, but anyway, I'm done. This car is horrible, man. What a disaster of a machine. The 2015 car was way better than this, and even that was mid.
It's terrible. Drives like a pig. It's a Ferrari. It's a Spinella.
This is going to be a race featuring the worst Ferrari F1 cars of all time. Now, Ferrari have made some stinkers over the years, and we're going to put them all on track at the same time and see which one's the best and which one is the worst. So starting off with the most recent of the bunch, the Ferrari from 2021. Now, this wasn't a terrible car, but it didn't win a race, and that is kind of the benchmark I have for this video. Next up, it's the predecessor, the 2020 Ferrari SF1000. Boy, this car was pretty bad. A couple of podiums, but this one was really off the pace. We then go back to 2009 and we go to the Ferrari F60. Now, while this car did win a race, for the most part that season it was a really bad car, especially in the first half of the season. We then work our way to 2005 and of course the infamous Ferrari F2005, which only won one race, and even that one had a massive asterisk on it as it was only a 6-car race in Indianapolis. We then go back to the future, to the Ferrari from 2016, and this car had potential, but in reality didn't win a race and was almost 4th best behind Red Bull, Mercedes and sometimes Williams. Of course, it wouldn't be this video without the infamous F14T, the infamous 2014 car that understeered and oversteered at the same time. I also covered this car in a separate video, link in the top right, but basically we drove a full race with 20 of these cars on track at the same time. And we now go back to the 90s, the 1992 Ferrari, which was a massive disappointment, especially after 1990 and 91. This car was a massive drop in pace. No real results to really rave about, a couple of podiums, but it was really bad. Right then, let's do this. Time for a race. Guys, like the video if you're going to enjoy the concept and want to see more of this content. And also, crucially, if you're new, please subscribe. I post a lot of Assetto Corsa content like this on my channel, a lot of experiments and one-off videos. And crucially, we are less than 3,000 subs away, guys, from the big 100k. So if you want to help me get there this year, I would massively appreciate it. So please subscribe if you're new. But anyway, into the racing action. Making our way through the first chicane. Let's try and find our confidence. The Radiante Tamburello now into Radiante Villeneuve. We've got the 2020 and 21 car here going at it as we are going to be mindful. We know that AI can be a bit erratic in Assetto Corsa, so just going to try and mind the gap, be a bit cautious as Sainz completely darts me around the outside there. Going to get a run up the hill up towards Piratella turn 9, but not quite close enough to go for the send. Down to Acquaminerale. 6-lap race, so 5 more laps after this, so should give us time to hopefully carve our way through. These mod machines should be the fastest ones, even though the 2020 car was terrible, it's still much faster than some of the other ones we have in this race. Up the inside on Sainz, going to try and go through and leave some space on the left. Racing down to Ravazza. I think we've got that move locked in. We'll brake nice and late just to make sure. But let's see if we can now get past the 2020 car that remains, I believe, last one. I think it's Sebastian Vettel. Onto the pit straight. 2 places gained on the first lap. Let's see also if there's any carnage down to turn 1. The slower cars, of course, at the front should be filtering through. I've tried to set the grid in, pace, reverse, order, so the slowest cars at the front and fastest at the rear, so we get constant action. Good run there through Tamburello. Going to get a run on Seb. Into Villeneuve we go, and through we go. And now we're going to tuck in behind the F60 from 2009. That's Raikkonen. We're going to go around the outside. Still side by side though, as we head up the hill. I think now we've got that one done. And that is now P10 for us. To be fair, it's quite a cool concept because we have a mixed grid. So I believe the 92 car is the V12. So we've got V12, V10, V8 and V6 engines in this little mini race, which is also pretty cool. So we get to compare those as well into the chicane. We're going to try and get a switch back there, but we get completely chopped off and blocked off by the 05 car. And look at that drive and acceleration there from the F2005. Not exactly ideal. Down to Ravazza, we're going to have a look around the outside here maybe. Bit of a space, and we're going to get it, I think. Yes, we do. Nice stuff. So make that P9. Side by side up ahead as we race down the pit straight into the chicane. Onto lap 3 now. Let's try and close in through here. You can see there's slower cars holding up the traffic up ahead. They're not really going that fast on their own. Good run here. We're going to pull alongside one of the 2014 cars. We're going to clear it easily. You can see that 2014, the first V6 Ferrari, struggling, and we're going to go around the outside of Massa, although Massa pulls back in front in the 09. Going to try and get a slipstream here, but you can see that V8's pulling, so no way through just yet. Let's try and stay close through here. Maybe get a run up into the chicane. Or here actually. Minerale. We'll clear one at a time. So P7, half the cars have been overtaken now. Let's keep it nice and clean for the chicane. Lost a bit of momentum there. Trying to get the drive. We might still have a chance. Closing in on the 2016 car. Not quite close enough though. I'm going to try and stay close through the second Ravazza to get the run onto the pit straight. There we go. DRS, let's open it up. It's close, it's neck and neck. Trying to get a run. Look at this, now we're starting to fly. We're going to clear the second 2005 car of Michael Schumacher. Around the outside, Schumacher's still there. Leaving the room. And now we're in a top 5. Slowly but surely making our way to the front. Up next, the second 2016 car. As we head up to Tosa. Have a look at the brakes. Going to try on the outside, but not a lot of grip. So we'll fall in line behind Seb, who's next up. Let's see if I can try and hook up turn 9 here and get very close. Yep, good exit. Looking. Down the inside, it's all a bit close, but we're going to go through, try to get minimal contact. And that is now 4th place. And now we arrive at one of the 92 cars. Look how wide and low these things are. V12 versus V6. Half the engine. But hybrid power in our car should make a difference. Let's try and stay close here. We should have better cornering. Just amazed how wide that bloody thing is. It's actually the same width as our car, but the height of it being so low, it makes it look so wide, side by side. We're going to almost rub tyres there and trade paint as we look to pull ahead. On the brakes into 1. I think we're through, yes we are, so top 3. And now getting the run on the other 2014 Carlos Alonso. Through we go into Villeneuve, and just 1 remains. It's the final 92 car. Alain Prost, I believe, no, that's John Alesi. Oh, off wide there. Bit of marbles, but I think we've got it. I think we're clear. And that is P1 for us, with a lap and a half to go. And just like that, we're at the front. To be fair, like I said, this is probably the best car of a worst bunch. Normally, the 2020 cars, were faster, but in Ferrari's case, their 2020 car was so bad that 21 was actually quicker. But the regs were designed so that 21 was actually slower than 2020, which was the case for most teams, but not for Ferrari, because Ferrari have to do things their way. Of course, that engine controversy in 2019 spilling over into 2020. And it still affected them in 21, to be fair. Their engine still wasn't great this year. I think the best car on this grid, if you were to fine-tune all the settings and really push it, I think the 05 car could probably still win. The actual 2005 car wasn't a bad car. There was a lot of potential there, but that year the tyres really hamstrung that car's performance and made it look worse than what it was. I don't actually think it was a bad car per se Ferrari even thought it was better than the 2004 car when they launched it, but the tyres were so bad. Anyway, there we go. Race win in the SF21, and that is the victor today. That was on the hardest possible difficulty, by the way, so you can see this car had a bit of margin in terms of pace to win the race. The Ferrari F14T, known for understeer and oversteer all at the same time and being an absolute shambles to drive, the worst Ferrari car in the last 30 years. I mean, this was a horrific car to witness drive F1 circuits. And today we're driving as Fernando Alonso, and the best thing about it is we're doing a race. We're racing 19 other Ferraris, the exact same one as mine to be exact. So I'm expecting this to be chaos, and I'm doing it at Abu Dhabi. I'm doing it on the old layout to kind of also have that comparison in Sector 3, and we're driving on the medium tyre. So let's get into it. If you'd like, if you're going to enjoy, subscribe for more. It really, really helps the channel out. Lately, we've been doing pretty damn well, and I want to try and close out the year with a bang. I'll leave the links to the mods down below. And yeah, let's get into it, and let's see what this drives like. Okay, I'm going to try and do the best I can to stay alive, whether that be because of me, because of AI, or because of the car itself being terrible. We're about to find out. Lights are on, and we're underway in Abu Dhabi. Well, we're almost underway as we bog down horrifically and then get a load of wall spin. Fantastic. Right, that's turn one then. Let's take it easy as we have a bit of contact and we have a car backwards. So we're up to P17 already as we now head through turn 2. Oh my god, there is no front end on this thing. Combined with the cold tyres, we severely lack grip. So, as you saw, we're running the chicaneless version as we just go around the outside here and gain a few more places. Just trying to stay alive here on this opening lap, as you know the AI can be pretty horrific in Assetto. Move the brake bias towards the rear as we look to get a slipstream down the back straight into the chicane. Another yellow flag, 2 more cars off as we completely miss our braking point, but actually that done us a favour as we pass a car who was blocking the racing line. So we're now up to 8th place, P7 just up ahead. I genuinely think we're not going to be able to fire up these tyres at any point, so that should be fun. Anyway, more chaos, more cars off, just trying to stay alive here, and then hopefully the AI should sort themselves out from next lap onwards. But this is where this Ferrari really struggled, so let's find out. First time driving this layout in over a year. It feels weird driving on the old version. Oh my god, the car just doesn't want to slow down. There's just no grip on the front. The understeer is horrific. Traction isn't too bad. We have got some rear tyre temp, so we're looking okay, but the car just refuses to turn into the corner. It's crazy. I have to brake so early to get the car and the nose into the apex. I'm going to move the brake bias super far back to try and see if that will help out. Oh dear, where to brake? I'm so used to the current cars, which are much, much faster than this. Okay, that felt better. Now we've got a bit of temperature. Still struggling though, my god. Hopefully we'll start to get a bit of confidence and get faster and faster. AI seem pretty rapid to be fair. I'm on 98 AI out of 100, so almost maxed out. But clearly we're lacking a bit of pace here compared to the AI. Got a 3-way scrap up ahead. I'm hoping to try and get involved, but this isn't a car that I'm very confident with, and the AI seems to be doing a better job than me at the moment of dealing with it. So far I've found lower gears is the way to go for me. That seems to work with this car as we close in at the hotel section. Very little confidence on the braking as well, as we just lock up into every single corner. Fronts refuse to warm up, but we've got rear tyre temp. That's something as we try to go up the inside. Oh dear, that hasn't gone well. There's just nothing on the front. Give me tyre warm up on the front, please, and I think we'll actually be okay. But we're not getting there right now. Anyway, up to P6, so not too shabby to be fair. I'll have to start flirting with the track limits to try and have a better performance. Yes, 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 here we go. Whoa, that's a squeeze. Big squeeze. I've got no confidence on the brakes compared to that AI. Look at that. There's no way I'm doing that. Oh, that's a dangerous rejoin there. Anyway, let's get that one done. Moving to P5. Getting into a drag race here with the DRS. He's on my left. I can hear him. But I think we're ahead. Under braking, however. Okay, that's not the racing line, pal. So we'll just crack on. You do you. And there we go. That's 5th place now, to be fair. I think we could potentially look for a podium here. The car is drivable. I mean, this is stock settings, so stock fuel, stock setup, stock tyres. I mean, if we put a set of softs on and drop the fuel out, it would probably help quite a bit. But yeah, if we were to actually simulate Alonso's video, you know, the FP session, we'd have to probably reduce the track grip a little bit, being realistic, because I think it was an FP1 session. And that would make a big difference. Then we'd start to have oversteer trouble, but luckily the track's rubbered in, so we don't have those oversteer issues, not to that extent anyway. I've still got oversteer issues, but not that bad. But yeah, starting to get my confidence going now. We'll do a lap at some point. My best lap of the race. I'll let you guys, as always, enjoy the engine sound of this mod, which is really good, by the way. So yeah, I'm going to get into a bit of a sweat here and try to catch up to the cars ahead and try and chase that podium. Oh my god, whenever I get any kind of confidence, the car just still doesn't want to respond. I try to push it and nothing happens. Oh, I'm barely braking, the car just locks up like anything. Oh, I was just starting to catch that car as well. It's on for a personal best. Still, I think we might be able to get P4 here. I'm slightly quicker than the car ahead, but I'm having to work for it big time. This isn't easy. Case in point. Okay, we're closing in on this car. Let's try and go for the move. Our confidence is as high as it's been, which isn't very high, but it's high enough than it was at the start of this thing. Oh my god, absolutely horrific bit of oversteer there. Anyway, DRS open on the car ahead, and I'm running a bit more engine power here to try and help me close the gap and look for a move. I just have no confidence on the braking, and the AI are pretty good on the braking, to be fair. Onto the second part of the back straight, we might actually get the chance here. We've got the straight line speed. There we go, it's an easy move. Easy work. I get the car slowed down. I'm already on the farthest the brake bar goes towards the rear, which is 52%. It doesn't go back any more than that, so any more lockups from this point on, I just down to the cold tyres. I literally cannot move the brakes any further back. Anyway, that's P4. Let's see if we try and get a podium. We've got 2 laps to try and get it, but oh my god, I'm struggling with this corner so much. I'm way too used to the new circuit through there. But we'll still try and get that podium. We'll have to work hard for it, but it's not impossible, especially because they're battling for that podium right now. And they're literally like 1 corner ahead, but it's going to take 2 perfect laps to try and get this gap closed. Yellow flag, and there we go, car off. Does that move us into the podium? Yes, it does. Happy days. The race wins just up ahead, by the way. They're both going side by side. I can see them. We could actually win this. It could come down to the last lap. Let's see if we can nail the rest of this lap. They're both battling away, so it's looking pretty good at the moment. If we can just keep it clean and just slightly improve our pace if possible. Yeah, they're still going at it. I can see them up ahead. This isn't over yet. Let's see if we can nail the final sector for a change. That was nice. That was very nicely done through there. Starting to get a bit of confidence now with this, but I'm having to work the car really hard. It's part of the reason why I'm having to go quiet and just kind of focus. I can drive the new cars a lot easier. Let's try and make this apex for a change. There we go. That's more like it. Yeah, we're catching it. We can win this. I'll crank up the engine mode here for this last lap as well. Just try and close in if we can. Oh my god, what a squeeze. They're really going for it, by the way, for this win, which has brought us right into play. I'm now in absolute maximum engine mode here for this last part of the lap and the race to try and give it everything. On for a personal best right now. Can we salvage anything? Can we nick a P2 at the death? We have to nail this section if we want to have a chance. The race wins right there though. Here we go. Oh my god, he runs wide, so do we. Trying, but I don't think we're close enough. Oh, damn it. Just going to miss out. Fireworks go off. And P3 for us. Oh my god, genuine workout. This car is a workout. Like, you have to... You're constantly just trying to save the car and you're trying to stay on the wheel every time. Trying to make sure you avoid making mistakes and stuff. Oh, I am glad that's over in a way. Anyway, I'll leave the car and the circuit guys linked down below. Go check it out. So 2014 was a very strange year for Formula 1. There was a massive change in the rules, and along with that came some of the ugliest F1 cars of all time. Now, months ago, I done a video on the channel which I showed off what I thought was the ugliest car. And to be fair, in the comments there was a few suggestions of other options, and one of them stood out more than any other. Now, to be fair, I'm just going to leave this angle because this camera is perfect. It sits right on that nose. This is the 2014 Caterham, and before it had a nose job later on in the season and it went to the surgeon, got a rhinoplasty, this car, to be fair, I stand corrected, had the ugliest nose I think we've ever seen. Look at that. I know the car's green, but it's definitely not the Hulk. It's probably more of an abomination rather than something pretty. What the hell were they thinking when they made this thing? I remember being on Twitter and stuff when this car first did a shakedown, and when it launched I could not believe my eyes. And it's not even the front angle, also from the side it's got this double step nose where it kind of steps down once and then has that cut and the nose, the secondary nose. Ugh, it's just horrible. Besides being horrifically ugly, was extremely slow. So we're going to basically drive what is one of the slowest Formula 1 cars of all time, along with being one of the ugliest F1 cars of all time, around the Hockenheim. We have a full grid of 22 cars, and I think this should be a lot of fun. So guys, it should be chaos. Leave a like if you're going to enjoy. Subscribe for more if you want to see more content like this. Give me suggestions in the comments down below. And yeah, let's get to work. This is fun, chaos, everything mixed into one. Here we go then. 8 laps of Hockenheim, and we're almost off as the car bogs down pretty extremely there. Out of turn 1 then, let's stay out of trouble, or try to stay out of trouble. Loads of smoke, but no actual incidents as we get past the Marussia, we get past Kobayashi, and we're going to get the second Marussia there. We have a huge lock-up into 2, we just avoid contact. Trying to get the power down, tyres are stone cold. Decent exit though onto the back straight, and we're actually going to clear a few of these cars. And look at this, we're going to challenge a Ferrari, albeit the worst Ferrari in a long time. Also done a video with that car, to be fair. Apologies mate, just going to have to slide through here, don't mind me, just you do you. But yeah, we've done the video with that Ferrari as well a couple months ago, which was actually one of the more viral videos on my channel, which done really well, so thank you guys for that. But yeah, in this one, as we run wide, we're driving, of course, as we tell by the helmet, one-time Indy 500 winner, Marcus Ericsson. Who would have thought back in 2014, when this was happening, that this man would be an Indy 500 winner? Because I certainly did not have that on the postcard, but it happened as McLaren there from Magnussen, I believe, ran wide. You know what, we've had a decent little lap here. First lap up to P13. Not bad at all. So we'll see if we can make some more progress. But yeah, Ericsson, man, an Indy 500 winner. Still can't believe I'm saying that, but here we are. This, of course, was his debut season in Formula 1. And then moved to Sauber for 2015 and 16. and then I believe that was his last year in Formula 1. But yeah, Marcus always a legend in sport. As for Caterham, also a legend in their own right, because their last season was pretty insane. They of course were crowdfunded for their very last race in Abu Dhabi in 2014 as a Williams is off, so that gives us P12, thank you very much. They had 4 drivers this year, Ericsson, Kobayashi, and then of course the legend Will Stevens, and also Andre Lotterer, which is one of the most random crossovers I think in motorsports even to this day. But yeah, that aside, I can't lie, the car actually isn't that bad. I mean, the front tyres are refusing to warm up, which is a problem because I'm basically turning in and nothing's happening. But the rear is fine. The rear tyres have warmed up, so we've, you know, out of the worst traits of this car, which is oversteer, understeer at the same time, we've kind of lost the oversteer, which is nice, and we only have understeer now, which still isn't ideal, but you know what, I can live with it. And now DRS is enabled, so let's see if we can stay with the action here. Of course, I've lowered the AI, otherwise we'd just be a lap down pretty much now. So yeah, we've put that AI on a respectable level so that I can actually get a video out of this and have a bit of fun. But here we go, DRS open for the first time. Can we get this Lotus? I don't know where that's happening. I cannot turn in like that. The AI have way too much grip on the front and don't seem to lock up, which is something I can't stop happening. Got a battle ahead though for P9. I think there's a Williams involved there. And also a Force India. Maybe that's Massa. That Lotus there, that's Grosjean. A bit slow, we're going to have a little look into the stadium section. Yeah, thank you mate. That's all you, that's all Roman running wide there, left plenty of space. And we're now P11. Let the Caterham cook, man. Oh, look, I'm looking up into that corner. How is that even happening? God, explain that to me. Anyway, we'll try and make some progress. Another thing I like about this car, one of the few things I like, is that it has the retro steering wheel, of course, with the old LED display before we had the big screens. That's actually Bottas ahead of us. I thought it might have been Massa, but Valtteri having a bit of a struggle, and we're actually going to get the run here. Come on, let's go. Looking to pass. No, that is Massa, my bad. And we breezed past, making light work of Felipe. Can I get the car stopped? I can, but Felipe just goes straight back through. Hairpin is just not a corner for me, but we're going to re-challenge again and get back past. Can I turn in? Yes, I can. At least the rear is consistent. That's the one thing about this car. I can floor it pretty much and not have to worry for the most part. But the front end, as you can see there, just refusing to cooperate. Oh god. I just try to carry any speed into any corner and the car just says, you know what mate, I'm alright, I'm good. I don't want to turn in today. I don't feel like it. Right, for the third time, we'll try to pass Massa and run that one back. DRS. That Williams is got an issue or isn't very competitive on a straight line. So we walk past Felipe. Okay, that was a great lap. Hear me out, we're cooking. Personal best, 21.1. And we're going to have DRS, no not quite, but we've got the run on the Force India here. No, oh my god. Hulkenberg mate, I deeply apologise for my actions. That was not my intention, but I cannot stop the car and I cannot turn the car, so I sincerely apologise. So for the fourth time, we're going to pass Massa, and now we have to re-overtake Grosjean to bag a couple of points. Oh my god, Grosjean's wide, and we're following him in pretty much. But as always, we'll get the exit, and for the fifth time, we'll pass Felipe. Oh man, let's try and lock in this P9. Let's try and get Grosjean. I feel like I'm starting to drive pretty decently now. up until that crash anyway with Hulkenberg. I'm finding the limits, if that's even a thing, with this car. You can see that was perfect through there. That was on the money. Gonna try and get a late apex here, get the exit right, close in on Grosjean. This corner I struggle with so much. The front right does not want to cooperate with me through there. Right, let's go. Let's do this. 2 laps to go. That's a decent turn 1. Okay, we've got the car stopped this time at least. Okay, this should be a doable overtake, although the hairpin is probably the worst corner for us around here. First to try and give myself a chance. Grosjean using a bit more than just the track to try and stay ahead. But I think we've got this. This is my corner. We're taking it. Literally breaking it like the 300-meter ball there to try and make the corner. But we're through. Finally. And I think that's the best we're going to get. I'll crank up the engine mode to whatever this car has. And we'll give it everything we've got in the last lap to see what kind of pace we can set. There we go, a 19.9. We managed to dip below the 1 minute 20s using full power. One thing I didn't realise is when you crank up the engine mode, because of this old-fashioned steering wheel, there's no actual data or information to know how much deployment you have, which I guess is why they moved to the LED screen in the first place. But that's crazy. How did they know how much deployment or energy they had left? That's insane. Anyway, happy with that last lap. I think you guys would have enjoyed that suffering with me. And yeah, overall, even though it's a shit car, I'll be absolutely honest with you, pardon my French, it's fun to drive, it's a workout, and the mod's actually good quality as well, and so are the other ones on this grid. So I'll leave a link down below, as always guys, to go check them out. This video is going to be a race featuring some of the worst F1 cars of the last 20-25 years. Now, I did a bit of a brainstorm, along with also asking you guys on Twitter some of the worst cars you've seen, and we have a final list of 20. Starting off with the car that I'll be driving in this video, the 2019 Williams, which of course, George Russell had a great year, but generally that car was a shambles. They were late to pre-season, they were super behind schedule on upgrades, and generally for Williams, it was a very, very bad year. We then go to the 2021 Haas, which of course, they chose that year to basically postpone development and move all resources into 2022, which meant this car got no love. We then say hello to an icon, and to be fair, a bit of an exception on this list. Most cars here have not scored a single championship point, but the 2015 McLaren Honda did score points. However, It's arguably the most unreliable car on this entire grid, and for McLaren, the team they are, this car was an embarrassment for them. We then go to another car in 2015, and that is the Manor car, which of course they as a team just survived out of 2014, and with a bit of a restructuring made it into 2015, but basically with no development and essentially a year-old car. We then go to 2014 and we start off with the Sauber car, which many people don't really talk about, but they scored 0 points, a donut, in 2014, and they just generally weren't very impressive. This car is arguably the worst car ever. We stay in 2014 and we have this thing. Ugh. We now go back to the V8s, and this is going to be one of its younger brothers, the 2012 Caterham, which to be fair was not terrible, but still, donut, and we're going to see plenty of those donuts coming up right now. Another one, the 2012 Marussia, which they showed improvement, but another donut. I could have put the 2013 car in here as well, but to be fair, 2013 was actually not terrible, even though they scored no points. They showed probably their strongest package after 4 years, but this was still not quite there. And here we go, HRT. Need I say more? There's a couple more of these on the grid, but this is the 2012, their last car, and yeah, to be fair, this one was pretty poor. We then go to 2011, Lotus or Caterham. Once again, that was the kind of year where they transitioned from the identity of Lotus into Caterham, but need I say more, the most iconic thing from this year for them was Heikki Kovalainen's Angry Birds helmet. We then have the 2011 Marussia, which of course also changed identity in 2011. So they started off as Virgin, then switched to Marussia very early on. And I mean, look at the car. It kind of looks like a GP2 car at the time rather than an F1 car. We now have an icon, the 2011 HRT, a car which was known for basically having empty logo spots and, you know, your logo here, this is a cool spot, and trying to bring in advertisement into the team. And this was the car that gave Daniel Ricciardo his debut in Formula 1. We now go to 2010, and this was the year the 3 new teams debuted, and Lotus, for me, had the best car that year, and it also looked the best. We also have the 2010 version, which of course before Marussia took over the team, they were merely a sponsor on the car, also arguably their best looking car out of all the ones they had. And we have yet another iconic car. This one was a pretty car, very, very bad. The beginning of the HRT era, before they kind of got some developments and improved a little bit, their very first car was horrific, and it's a shame that the name Senna is attached to this. Back in time, 2008, and this is a car which I have a soft spot for. I loved how this car looked, and I don't know why, I always rooted for the back markers, and this was one that I heavily rooted for growing up watching F1 as an 11-year-old at the time. And it's a 2008 Force India, which of course may have scored points in that Monaco race had Kimi Raikkonen not driven into the back of Adrian Sutil. Also that year was the Super Aguri, which only took part in a handful of races before they ceased to exist as an F1 team. They weren't actually that slow, but the fact they'd done a handful of races and basically couldn't turn up due to funding was quite poor and embarrassing. The year before that, they were actually pretty decent, with the iconic overtake with Takuma Sato at Canada on Alonso, but 2008 was just not that good. So from the 2008 Force India, we go to one of its predecessors 2 years before, to Midland Toyota, which also was pointless and generally was a very forgetful year for the team in their first season in the post-Jordan era. Now, just like with the Midland and, Force India connection, Super Aguri, they stopped in 2008 and they debuted in 2006, and this car was the machine to start with. This car was awful. Partially an icon in terms of the bad cars, also notably because they had some very bad drivers besides Takuma Sato, who was the one shining light in the entire team. However, their debut car had a chassis from a 2002 car 4 years prior, which says a lot about how slow they were. And last but not least, listen, we're talking about bad cars and back markers. I had to put Minardi in there and show them some love. This is the 2001 car, which of course gave Fernando Alonso his debut in Formula 1. However, they scored no points and was a car to forget, because the Minardis after that did actually have some moments where they kind of stood out in 2002, 3, 4 and 5 before they stopped existing. So this was their last car that was pointless. So guys, if you're going to enjoy this video, let's try and smash over 1,000 likes, maybe even 1,250. I want to see them likes, guys, and show your love for the video, and comment down below which one of these cars was your favourite, or did you like the most, more like? And which one did you just hate or just don't like at all? I'd love to know your thoughts, and also any surprise candidates which I have left out, such as the 97 Lola, which is a story in itself. Anyway, we've got through turn 1, and that is the main thing which I'm looking for. But yeah, give me your thoughts down below. I want to hear what you guys think of some of these cars and some of the memories you have. Currently up towards turn 3, everyone seems to have got through unscathed, which is very encouraging for Assetto Corsa. Yeah, we're going to get past the 2015 manor straight away of Alexander Rossi. So that's 1 down, and that's P19. We're now challenging the 2014 Caterham here as we look up the inside of turn number 4. Getting very close to the back end of the Haas there. 21 Haas in the hands of Mick Schumacher. The 2014 Caterham in the hands of Kamui Kobayashi. I've chosen the more iconic drivers for this video as we go up the inside of JB, Jenson Button, in the 2015 McLaren, and we're now P17, so already making excellent progress. You see the Haas also carving through. I think he's going to be our main rival, Mick Schumacher, so looking to hopefully make some progress as we get past, I think that's the 2012 Marussia in the hands of Timo Glock. Is that Glock? I'm not sure. I think it is. Turn 1, brief yellow flag, but everyone getting through, and now we're going to get the run here on the 21 Haas. I'm not going to use DRS. I'm going to just run without it because some of these cars don't have it. The Haas carves past the 2011 Lotus Caterham. I don't know what to call it, so we'll call it both. Great exit from us though. Out of turn 3, we're going to challenge Mick here. As we race towards turn 4, Mick pulls ahead with the DRS. And Nick also challenges and passes Adrian Sutil. 2014 Sauber. Sutil tries to barge back through as the Germans put up a fight. Easy does it. Around the outside, we're going to use the downforce here to nail it around the outside of Sutil. And we're going to now get Schumacher, and we're going to get the 2012 Caterham in the hands of Vitaly Petrov. Now behind one of the HRTs, the 2011 car, driven by Daniel Ricciardo. And we're going to get through. Happy days. Or I may have actually put Carter Kine in that car, to be fair. The legend himself. Cucumber Challenge, if you guys know where that's from. Shout out to you guys in the comments. Let me know if you know that reference. So P11 in the hills of Ostrich. By the way, you can see I've set to kind of autumn to kind of match the time of year. So the low sunlight and all the kind of autumn trees. We've got the 2012 HRT, I believe, next up. So that will bring us into the points, into the top 10. We are driving as Robert Kubica, if I haven't mentioned that. Oh, that's a bit wide. That's very wide. Keep it on the island top. There we go. Bring it back. 8 laps, so it's pretty much a sprint race, especially around such a short lap, so we have to get stuck in here and make these moves. Here we go. Now we're going to see the downforce kick in. Getting a great run. And that is going to get us ahead. I believe that's De La Rosa. Also an icon. Before Alonso arrived in F1, there was a De La Rosa. And that brings us into the top 10 and on to a Virgin or Marussia. I don't know which one. We're about to find out. Yellow flag at turn 1. Someone has come a cropper. And it's the Midland. 2006 Midland on the outskirts there of turn 1. So that gives us P9. I want to see what this car is ahead of us. I think it's a Marussia. And we've got another one off. That's the 2010 car, which just hits our rear end, but we keep it in line, unlike the previous attempt. And I think this is the 2011 Marussia ahead of us. Still can't get past though. He's doing a good job. I believe that's in the hands of, I think it's Timo Glock as well. Is that Glock? I guess then the meme does write itself. Come on. Here we go. Through it. Let's go. Yep, that's Timo. I think I did the 2010 car, Lucas Di Grassi. I chose Glock for the 2011 car. And I think I chose Charles Pic. I think it's Charles Pic for the 2012 car. So yeah, it wasn't Glock before. That was actually Glock. Anyway, half race distance. P7. 3 more cars up ahead. It's 2019 Williams. Feels like a 2020 Mercedes compared to some of these cars, I'm sure. And some of those guys are battling up ahead. I can see a couple more cars up at turn 3, but they've got a pretty big gap, to be fair. So some of these guys have made a break for it. Up next, though, it's one of my personal favourites and the car that I have a soft spot for. The 2008 Force India. Underrated livery for me. I love the red, gold and white before they went for the kind of Indian flag colours, which also look really epic, by the way. And I would have loved to put them in this video, but in 09, up until that iconic Spa race, they were a pretty mid-team, but that result means I can't really put them in here. So it's the 08 car. As we get the run again through there, we're going to get a tow. This is Giancarlo Fisichella. Could have gone with Sutil, but Giancarlo is a bit more of an iconic driver with a bit more of an iconic resume. And we go through and make the pass, and that brings us on to a Super Aguri, I think. The question is, which one? Trying to get a look. It's the 08 car. So Anthony Davidson behind the wheel in this one. Gonna get a nice slipstream here all the way up to turn 3. We're gonna pull out at the last second. I'll brake, although Anthony holds his own. Bit of argy-bargy, bit of contact on the way through. And Davidson gets back ahead. So the V8 holding its ground. Gonna go back up the inside though. Into turn 4. Davidson holds on. Putting up a fight for P5 here. Trying to use the downforce. But still no use. Maybe here. There we go. Slightly out of bounds, but my race, my rules. So that's P5. And with 2 laps to go, we'll see if we can salvage anything out of this race. You all see that car right ahead, but the podium's looking a bit distant. I'm trying to see in the far. Although yellow flag, this might just open up for us on a platter, and it's the 2014 Caterham off at turn 1. Although we haven't gained a place, so he was a lap down. Kamui Kobayashi having a stinker as we get locked up into 3. The right front just catches. I'm going to have to cheat now and use the DRS and crank up the engine mode here, because if we want to push on, we have to catch up. So here we go. Now we're going to start using the DRS and the engine mode. Brake bias adjustment. Slightly to the rear to avoid front locking. Now we're going to start to push this. I guess it's a bit of a box, but it's the best car on the grid here pretty much, besides the Haas, so let's make use of it. Now let's try and push. Leader on the final lap already, so we're almost half a lap down. I don't think it's likely we get a podium, but I want that P4 just up ahead, so we're going to give it everything to try and catch. I can't tell what car it is. 2010 Lotus? Yellow flag again. Is that the same Caterham of Kobayashi as before? Yes, it is. I think he's had enough. He just doesn't want to drive that car anymore. I don't blame him. Come on, come on. Giving it full beans here. Yep, 2010 Lotus. My guess was correct, although another mistake there, just running in a bit too deep. I believe that's Jarno Trulli up ahead. And I think we're going to miss out here. I'm going to push as hard as I can through these final corners and use the downforce to try and close the gap. Come on, Williams. Give me everything you got, baby. Show me the pace. I think we're going to fall short here. We're going to close in massively for the last 2 corners, but I don't think it'll be enough. Trulli's going to hold on, and it's going to be P5 for us. So some of these cars have held on fair dues. So we know that's Jarno, P4, and there is the 2011 HRT backwards at turn 1, but that wasn't for position. So let's see what the final order was. Here was P3. Who is it? It's the 2010 HRT for P3. Yes, it is. Let's see where the others finished. Here we go then, final finishing results. The winner, the 2006 Super Aguri in the hands of Takuma Sato. He won by 18 seconds, 19 seconds pretty much, absolute domination. So Takuma showing he's got the skills, of course, Indy 500 winner, and was always a very quick driver, but maybe never had the tools to show. Also was a bit of an erratic and inconsistent driver, but Takuma getting the job done. We then have the 2001 Minardi with Fernando Alonso, again, arguably the best driver on this grid, driving possibly the worst car on this grid, but again, getting the job done, second place. P3, Bruno Senna in the HRT. So HRT 2010, possibly the worst car on this grid, getting a podium. So some of these guys have outperformed their machinery. P4, Jarno Trulli in the 2010 Lotus, we finish in P5 as Kubica in the 19 Williams. Then it's both 08 cars, Super Aguri followed by Force India. And then it's going to be Marussia 2011, so Timo Glock in P8, Sutil P9 in the Sauber from 2014, and De La Rosa P12 in the 2012 HRT. We had a bunch of retirements, but the final three were the Marussia from 2015, so that's Alexander Rossi. P12, wow, the 21 Haas of Schumacher must have got caught up in some incidents because he finished a long way back. And then 2012 Caterham in the hands of Heikki Kovalainen, I believe. No, Vitaly Petrov. And then we have a bunch of retirements. Fittingly, 2015 McLaren DNFs. The car known for unreliability, along with a bunch of others. So yeah guys, there is your lot. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like the video, subscribe. Down below I'm going to leave all the mods that I can find in this one. I'll leave all the links for every single car. This is Assetto Corsa. If you guys want to drive some shit cars, you're welcome to do so. So yeah, give it a go. Let me know what you think. And hopefully you enjoy it. The track itself is original in Assetto Corsa. Austria's already in the game, so you don't have to download the mod for it. So bear that in mind. And yeah, cheers for watching guys. As always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel and the content. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah guys, cheers for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, and that's goodbye from me.